Now, as I promised you last week, for the last couple of weeks, in fact, we've been talking about our youth and how they're actually doing in today's world. And, you know, we hear so many examples of bad things that young people are doing. I think I mentioned last week that I was going to have on some folks that I think are exemplary, are really upstanding young people that are doing some very positive things. With that being said, tonight we have with us Johnny Nomega, and he runs Nomega Studios. I'm going to introduce him in a minute. He's got a lot to talk about. First, before I start that, I want to tell all of you who have email, if you can email to holla, HALLABAK, hollaback at yahoo.com. You're going to get a free present for watching this show. That's another thing that Johnny Nomega is going to talk about. Now, Johnny, what you do, I've been telling the folks about for a couple of weeks, with your studio work and how you're working with young people. And the way that this got started, we met at a trade show, actually, for Sam's Club, where they had a lot of the business people come together and do some talking and just kick around some ideas. And I met this young man, and he really, really impressed me. So we started talking, and one thing led to another, and I went by and saw his studio. I was impressed with that. But what happened was I had one of my cousins came up from Atlanta, Georgia, who I've mentioned on the show before, COLEMAN, who's an author. And it was on a Sunday, and I got a phone call, and it was Nomega saying, "Hey, can you come by for a few minutes? Got some guys I want you to meet." And I said, "Okay, it's a Sunday, we'll take a ride." Well, I walked into what I have to say was almost a pep rally. I mean, the guys that were there was a bunch of young guys there, all of them into music, and they were formatting, I think they were formatting a plan for their future business, which direction they want to go in. So we sat and we listened, and we sat and we listened, and the more I listened, the more impressed I got, because I said, here we are looking all over for young people that are doing positive things, and all we had to do was just turn our head. And that's what a lot of you need to do out there. Just look at a young person that's around you that you don't know and have a conversation. I think you might be surprised at how positive these young folks are. With all of that being said, I want to introduce you to Johnny. I'm kind of stalling a minute because we're trying to get some camera work straightened out. While I do have a minute, let me say my hellos and my shout-outs. I tell you, we do shout-outs on the show. My first shout-out is to my mother-in-law, Miss Carolise Wallace, who has always been my buddy and is doing very well. Thank you for asking. And Mom, how you doing? With Miss Pat. I know you miss Brenda and you miss Marlene, but you have Pat there, and I think that's a great thing. Last week we had on the show the folks from Child Save. I think that was a very good presentation that they made. And also Hilda Woodby and her guest, Reverend Pierre from Family Advocacy Clinic. I'm going to take this minute to ask you to get a pen. If you didn't write it down last week, write it down this week. May the 5th, we're going to have a fashion show at Maggie Walker High School. It's to benefit underprivileged children and the Family Advocacy Clinic. But by the same token, it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. Pierre is a fashion designer, Reverend Pierre, who won the award for fashion for the 2005 Music Awards show. So he's got some real talent, and he's going to be showing plus sizes. So all of you that know some fluffy women or fluffy guys, because it's men and women, and young people also, you can come and get yourself fitted for some really nice clothing and some excellent fabrics. He does it specifically to size and style, and it's for a real good cause. So write that down someplace. May the 5th, we're going to be at Maggie Walker Junior High School from 7 to 9. I'm sorry, Maggie Walker Government School from 7 to 9 p.m. Fashion show, cheesecake, all of the good things. Now, let's get going with the show. We want to get this young man on camera, Nomega. Johnny Nomega, good to see you, Johnny.
Very good to see you.
I gave you a build-up there. I saw you getting a little nervous, but everything I said, I was very impressed with that meeting. So why don't you take a minute now and just tell our audience about you, who you are, and what it is you're trying to do.
Well, we do a lot of things at Nomega Studios. We do a lot of things at Nomega Studios. What you were talking about, what we invited you to. When I got to Richmond, I'm from New Orleans, so I've been in Richmond for about 5 years. And one thing I got, when I came here, I noticed that a lot of the youth, I'm 26, and a lot of the cats that were my age were musically talented. They were still doing the things that I used to do back in the hood. So
I'm talking the corner thing.
Yeah, so I figured, you know, what better way to bring them together than the passion of what they love to do. So I was able to get a lot of people that was from the streets that knew how to do street business and teach them how to do legal business. So, you know, I started doing business classes, teaching them how to run and form businesses. So I've incorporated over a half a dozen different record labels, entertainment company, music businesses, taught them how to successfully run their businesses, how to sign artists, how to get their stuff on the radio, how to make tracks, and still doing it to this day. So when you walked in, I think we had about 30, 40 cats there. We had more people than chairs.
Yeah.
You know, we were just going over, once again, how to teach them how to successfully run their businesses.
But the thing that I liked, even though you had that many people, it was a very clearly defined meeting. I mean, it was no everybody talking all over. I mean, people, it was a real meeting.
Yeah.
And I was just very impressed with what I heard. Now, you have artists now that are,
yeah.
Okay, what type of music is it?
We do everything. I mean, when I say every spectrum of music, we have hip hop, we have rap, we have gospel. I'm actually putting together a huge gospel project.
What is it? Tell us about it. This is your chance.
And, you know, I kind of give a shout out to a couple of the gospel artists that I'm looking to have on it. You know, Pearline Wood, Michelle Cheeseborough, Pastor Waller from the Waller family, Janice Jan, Tracy Trace. One of the pastors, I want to get one of the pastors from Faith and Family on the project.
Faith and Family, I was over there last week.
Yeah.
Last 2 weeks ago, Friday night.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, oh yeah, that's amazing. So just give a shout out to St. Paul's, get, you know, a couple of the people, the singers in this, and we're gonna make a compilation CD. And this compilation CD is gonna be free. We're gonna go to every hood in Richmond. You know, every hood is 5 big hoods here, every side, and just give out thousands of CDs absolutely free. People can go down there and download the Word of God absolutely free. So that's one of the huge projects we got going on.
Let me ask you something now, because we're hearing a lot about this. I think I was telling you about Noah and his buddies that do gospel rap, and also my wife's nieces that do the group Out of Eden, gospel pop. How is the reception to this type of music?
Christian hip hop?
Yeah.
This is real good, because I have a couple Christian hip hop artists, and we've, you know, practically sold out venues and done shows in front of thousands and thousands of people, you know, so it's amazing. Christian hip hop is hot.
I know it. I'm just wondering how come you don't hear more about it, because anytime you talk about rap, everybody's face twists up, mine including, and I tell you, I'm qualified to say it, being that my godson is one of the top in the hip hop market. That's Prodigy from Mobb Deep. And I said on one of the shows, how come the rappers can't make a real heavy beat, nice beat that the young people like, and have it about going to school? Okay. Now, when I came in and you had, I mean, these guys are regular guys. These are not little nerdy guys with little bow ties standing around and yes sir, no sir. These are homeboys.
Yeah, everybody from the block.
And they were testifying. I mean, it was just amazing to see. Yeah. And since then, you know, paying more attention to myself, I'm like you're saying, it's very, very widespread. Now you're doing, this is a compilation album. Now you say you're going to give the CDs away.
Yeah, this we have a couple projects. We have Sunday's album coming out, which is reality rap, as well as Chiba's project coming out this year.
What is that? Chiba's project?
Yeah, that's 2 of the artists off of Xander Records, which is my record label.
Xander Records, okay.
Xander Records is also the only distribution company here on this coast of Virginia. So every artist that has a record label that's trying to get their stuff in the other states and other countries, you know, Xander Records. So, you know, email, holler back at yahoo.com if you're trying to get your stuff out there.
I don't know if folks that you're watching, if you have any of your youngsters or young men or women around you, you might want to get them to come and sit in front of the TV for a minute, because this is something that all aspiring MCs want to know how to do, and this man is doing it, and he's doing it well. I must say, how many groups are you running right now?
We work with over 12 different acts and about 8 different record labels with about 4 acts of their own, so about 30, 40 different artists.
Now, where do you do shows?
Yeah, we do shows.
When do you have your next show coming up?
We have a show. We do poetry night every night, just every Monday night at 8 at the studio. So anyone that wants to come out and sing, do spoken word, every Monday night at 8 o'clock at the studio.
Where's the studio?
913 West Gray Street.
Say it again. 913
West Gray Street.
And it's a very nice setup he has there too. And it's not one of these places that you have to feel like you have to slink in. It's a very upscale, very nice, very well done. And the sound system is great. Yeah. He's learning how to play congas. I haven't given him a lesson in about 2 months since I had my hand surgery, but we'll get going. Now let's get back to these young fellas now.